Chairman, and thank you, Director Santos, for being here today. The decennial census is absolutely critical to the functioning of our federal government. It determines how resources are allocated and how congressional representation is distributed across the country. As we look toward the 2030 census, I'm increasingly concerned about the impact of the policies from this administration on its accuracy and fairness. Over the past 4 years, we've seen policies that, if left unchecked, could seriously distort the results, leading to skewed congressional apportionment. Today, I want to focus on how the Biden administration's handling of the southern border could undermine the integrity of the 2030 census. It's essential that we take the necessary steps now to ensure a fair and accurate count in 2030. Director Santos, while the number is likely drastically higher, can we at least agree that 5 million people have entered the country illegally in the last 4 years?
Thank you for the question, but I don't have access to that type of information.
Okay, NPR says 8 million. A lot of other think tanks go far higher, some as high as 15 to 20. So, I mean, that's enough to fill a dozen plus congressional districts. So do you think it's a problem if we are counting 10, 20 million people in the census that are in this country illegally? Do you think that that's a challenge to achieving your objective of an accurate count for purposes of apportioning federal dollars and reapportioning congressional districts?
It's certainly a challenge from the perspective of getting folks to participate in the decennial census, yes.
What's the purpose of the census?
It's to count everyone once, only once, and in the right place.
To then apportion federal tax dollars and
Correct.
to redistrict congressional districts?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think that we should give people in this country illegally federal tax dollars, and should they be given sway over how we reapportion our congressional districts?
That is a policy question that I will leave to the policymakers. We simply focus on our mission to enumerate the entire population.
Okay, I think most Americans, the overwhelming majority, would think that if you're in this country illegally, you should not be getting federal dollars. And currently, under the rules that we have in place, that is not happening because they're included in the census whether they are in this country legally or not. They're also receiving representation in Congress, skewing the results of the individuals that are legally allowed to vote, which in turn reduces American citizens' effective representation in Congress because they're getting a reduced benefit for being here legally and following the rules. So it seems like a problem.
That is not for me to determine. We simply focus on our mission.
Okay, so if we added additional questions regarding whether the individual is a citizen, whether they're born here, whether their parents are born here, naturalized, it'd probably be helpful to know if they were a lawful permanent resident or a visa holder or whatever. That would give us an additional data point to then achieve the objective of the census, would it not?
The objective of the census is to count all
for purposes of apportioning federal tax dollars
Correct.
and redistricting. So again, it seems kind of silly that we're sitting here talking about whether we should achieve the purpose of the census or some other purpose, because we're not achieving the purpose of the census if we're not getting that additional data point. We've been fighting about this for years, and there's been little cooperation from across the aisle. In 2019, President Trump tried to add the citizenship question to the census to better understand this issue. It was blocked by congressional Democrats. In May of this year, the House passed H.R. 7109, which would statutorily add a question to the census. And 7 months later, that bill is still sitting in the Senate under Majority Leader Schumer's control awaiting action. This is going to be addressed next Congress, if not in the next few months, but this should not be an issue. I've heard countless arguments and rebuttals from my colleagues across the aisle regarding the citizenship question that we've been advocating for since 2017. It just seems bizarre to me that we're still having this conversation when, if you're in this country illegally, you do not deserve the benefit of federal taxpayer dollars, and you do not deserve the benefit to reduce the effectiveness of a citizen's vote. I'm running out of time. Are you planning to use AI in the next census? There's a lot of different data points that you could use to more accurately reflect the true count. Is there any way that you're going to be using new technology to address that?
We're going to be using new technology to improve counts, yes.
Are you going to be, I'm out of time. Thank you very much. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Ocasio